What are some important aspects to making gains in the gym? You need to follow a workout program, log your sessions, reflect on how you did, then readjust and repeat. Do you follow a workout plan? Do you log your workouts in a logbook? Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I created my own workout programming template and logbook in Google Sheets. I hope this will inspire you to create your own. I started working out in my first year of university about 20 years ago. I've always logged my workouts. If you're serious about workout and fitness, you need to log your workouts so you can see how you're progressing, then readjust your programming. It's a continuous journey of learning. Ever since smartphones came along, I've tried a lot of different workout apps to log my workouts, and I can say that I've always migrated back to my template the most, just because it's so customizable. It will take time to build, but once it's built, you don't have to worry about it. If you aren't savvy with Google Sheets, don't worry, you can purchase the template from our store. The link is in the description. Now, let's get started. I designed this template to work with all kinds of workout programs, from bodybuilding, to strength training, to powerlifting, to rehab, and cardio. There are a total of 18 sheets in this template. Let's do a quick overview of all the sheets, and then we'll go over them again in more detail. The first sheet is the welcome sheet, which has some basic instructions and a version log. The next sheet is the setup sheet. This is where you would enter all your exercises in groups. For example, you could enter all your chest exercises into one group, back exercises in another, and so on. You can also enter cardio exercises, aerobic exercises, or calisthenics as a group if you like. There is no restriction. Also, on this sheet, you would input the start date of your program. As you'll see later in this video, the workout planner and log sheets are tied to this start date. Next is the planner sheet. This is where you would input your workout program. You can build a program up to 7 days per week and 12 weeks in duration. As you can see, the date for each day is automatically filled in based on the start date you input in the setup sheet. Each workout day is built using exercises from these drop-down lists, which are pulled from the setup sheet we just saw. You would first start by selecting the muscle group here. There is no limitation to the number of groups you can select here, so if you want to work every muscle group in a day, you can. I've seen some other spreadsheet templates that limit this to 3 groups. Once you select your groups, you then select your exercises. The drop-down lists will only show the exercises based on the muscle groups or cardio group you select. Once you select your exercise, you can input your plan for that exercise. For example, 3 sets of 10 reps and so on. Then there are sheets for logging your workouts. There is one sheet for each workout week, up to 12 weeks in total. As you can see, each sheet is broken down into 7 days, and each day will show all the exercises you selected back in the planner sheet. This is where you can log the number of sets for each lift, weight for each set, rest time, and RPE. This also works for cardio and isometric exercises, which we will get into later. You can also hide days that you don't want to see, up here. I also created an analysis sheet for tracking the progress of any lift that you select. It's a nice visual representation of seeing your progress when it comes to volume, maximum weight for an exercise, and tonnage. I also created sheets for tracking body measurements. Here, you can input measurements for all the major muscle groups. I find this is especially useful if you're bulking or cutting. And there is also a sheet for tracking body weight. I like having the body measurements and body weight sheets because it gives me a one-stop shop for tracking all my workout progress and goals. Now, let's go back over these sheets in more detail. We'll go back to the welcome sheet. If you're creating your own spreadsheet, you don't need a welcome sheet. But what I do have on here that I think may be useful to you is a version log. I can keep track of things that I've changed over time so that if something goes wrong, I have some idea of what was done so I can backtrack, especially if it was a change from several versions ago that now is conflicting with a new change I've implemented. Let's take a look at the setup sheet. Up at the top, I have a cell to input the start date of your workout program. So, this would be the first day of your program. This date is linked to both the planner and weekly log sheets, and will automatically fill in the dates for each of your workout days. As you can see, I've already input a date of January 1st, 2024, which is a Monday. I have 12 groups of exercises where you can input muscle groups and exercises for those groups. When we get to the planner sheet, these lists will serve as drop-down selections for easy input. Let's input another exercise group, but instead we'll call it cardio. Now, let's input running as the exercise. I specifically chose cardio so you can see how the log sheet handles cardio exercises differently. Next, let's go to the planner sheet. You can see that I've already programmed my first week of lifting. It's a 4-day per week lifting program that runs Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll go through an example so you can see how this works. Let's say I want to add cardio on Wednesdays. So I'm going to click the exercise group drop-down box for Wednesday and select cardio. Now when I select an exercise, you see that only running is available, as that was the only exercise I input in the cardio group. Let's go back to the setup sheet and input another exercise in the cardio group. Let's input biking as another exercise. Now let's go back to the planner sheet and see what happens. Now when I select an exercise for Wednesday, you can see that running and biking are available in the dropdown. But let's say I also want to do abs on Wednesday as well. No problem. All I have to do is add abs to the exercise group. So what I've done here is allow the dropdown to accept multiple selections. If I add abs to the exercise group, you'll see that abs exercises are also available in addition to cardio. And because I configured this exercise group dropdown list to allow multiple selections, I can actually add all the groups if I wanted, so I'm not restricted here. I'm going to add all the groups just to show you. The row isn't big enough to show them all, but if I make the row higher, you can see all the groups. Now I'm going to select an exercise. As you can see, all the different exercises are now available for selection. This is useful if you've broken down your muscle groups to be very specific. For example, triceps, biceps, calves, upper back, etc. And you want to work out all those groups in one session. After you've input all the exercises, you can input your plan for each exercise. For muscle group exercises, I would put in the number of sets and reps. So for example, 3 sets of 10 reps. If you're creating a powerlifting program, I would put in the RPE range. So for example, 3 sets of 5 reps at RPE 6, 7, and 8. For cardio, I would input the time target. At any time, you can view your whole workout program by zooming out and hiding rest days by pressing this minus button at the top. If you want to show it again, press the plus button. If you want to copy your workout plan from one week to another week, just select the exercise groups and exercises, but be sure not to select the date. Then, go to the week you want to paste it in and select the same upper corner left cell for that week. Right-click and select Paste Values. Be sure to use paste values and not regular paste. Now let's take a look at the weekly logs. You'll see that we have one sheet for each week up to 12 weeks. Let's take a look at week 1, since we only created a workout program with 1 week so far. As you can see, the weekly log is organized by days horizontally and exercises running vertically. You can collapse the days you don't want to see by pressing the minus button at the top. You can expand it again by pressing the plus button. I'm going to collapse everything and just show the first workout day. Now, I'm going to open up this spreadsheet on my smartphone so you can see how the sheet looks. So, I've casted my smartphone screen. As you can see, it fits nicely on the screen, and you can scroll up and down through the exercises. Let's go through an example of how to use the log. Looking at my first exercise, it's bench press. Let's say my first set is 225 pounds for 8 reps with 2 minutes rest. My next set is 235 pounds for 8 reps with 3 minutes rest. Then, my third set is 245 pounds for 8 reps. If you're wondering what RPE stands for, it's rate of perceived exertion. This is commonly used in strength training and powerlifting programming. It's essentially a scale of 1 to 10 measuring how hard a set was. RPE 10 means that you exerted maximum effort and would not be able to perform another rep. RPE 9 means you could have done one more rep. RPE 8 means you could have done 2 more reps, and so on. For those of you running strength training or powerlifting programs, this is useful. Notice how the volume, tonnage, and maximum weight are updated below. You can also input any notes for the exercise. I'll go ahead and input a note here. You would then repeat this logging for every exercise in your workout plan. Let's look at Wednesday. If you remember from our planner, Wednesday was a cardio day. As you can see, I have running as the exercise with a plan for 30 minutes. For cardio exercises, if you press this checkbox, the column for reps will change to time. Now you can enter the actual time you ran. Let's say 35 minutes. So what happens if you come across an exercise you want to substitute for the day? Well, you need to go back to the planner for the specific day and change it. Remember, the weekly log is just that, a log, and the planner is where you plan your exercises. Now, let's take a look at the analysis sheet. If you have several weeks of logged workouts, you can see how you're progressing for any specific exercise. I've gone ahead and loaded a spreadsheet with several weeks of logged data. Let's look at bench press. To select the exercise, you first select the muscle group, then select the exercise. As you can see, the graphs will show your volume, max weight, and tonnage over time, so you can visually see how you're progressing in your workout program. You can also see the actual numbers recorded in the logs in this table below. I find this very useful if you're trying to increase your volume or tonnage over time, or if you're on a strength training program and you want to track your max weight progression. If I change to a different exercise, the graphs and table will automatically update. Let's go through the body weight tracker. This is a nice little log to keep track of your body weight, whether you're trying to gain weight or lose weight over time. It's fairly straightforward to use. I'll go through an example. Enter your starting weight, let's say 150 pounds. Enter your starting date. I'll input January 1st, 2024. Enter your goal weight. Let's say I want to gain 5 pounds. Enter your goal date. I'll shoot for March 1st, 2024. Then you can log your entries on any frequency you like. I'll just input one for the middle of January 15th at 151 pounds. As you can see, the tracker will automatically calculate the difference and total change for you. Let's look at the body measurement tracker. This is really a simple table to use. Just enter the date and body measurement for each body part. When you double-click on the date field, it will open up a calendar for you to select a date. I find this really useful if you're on a bulking or cutting program to track your size. If you've made it this far, I'm going to show you how I created the drop-down lists. If you remember, the drop-down lists were dynamically generated based on the exercise group selected. All the drop-down lists are on a single sheet, which I like to hide so that it keeps my interface clean. So the first thing I do is retrieve all the exercises for each of the groups from the setup sheet into this table here. Then, for a specific workout day, I retrieve all the exercise groups that were selected and input them into this row here. I then use the index and match functions to retrieve all the exercises from up here, then input them down here. Down below, I have two tables, one called combined, the other is blanks removed. For the combined column, I use the flatten function to take every single exercise from this table and input it here. Now this function will retrieve everything, including blank lines. So in the next column, which I've labeled as blanks removed, I use the filter function to strip out all the blank lines. Then this becomes my final drop-down list. So at any time, if the user adds or changes an exercise group, this dropdown here will dynamically update. I then repeat these tables and formulas for each workout day. The last sheet I wanted to show you is this data sheet. This sheet also stays hidden, again to keep the interface clean. This sheet retrieves all the log information from each week and inputs it into a table format. Once you have all the log information into a table format, you have the ability to create all kinds of charts to track your progress, which I did on the analysis sheet. And that's it, everyone. If this video gave you some useful ideas to make your own workout planner spreadsheet, be sure to like and subscribe as it will help me create more content. If you have any suggestions for improvements, let me know in the comments below. If you don't know how to make your own spreadsheet or don't have the time, you can always purchase this one from my store. The link is in the description below. Till next time.